Good evening. This presentation will discuss the preliminary engineering report for the 62nd Avenue North Roadway Improvements Project. This is the 62nd Avenue North preliminary engineering phase of the project, which includes a traffic and safety analysis, preliminary engineering, and environmental documentation. The study limits are from 49th Street North to 34th Street North. This phase will focus on improving the existing two-lane roadway and improvements at the signalized intersections, and it will focus on multimodal needs through the corridor. This project is about 1.25 miles long. There are several current and completed projects in this corridor. They include a proposed trail west of 49th Street, recently installed advanced traffic management systems along 49th Street, and completed milling and resurfacing along 34th Street, with upgrades at the intersection of 62nd Avenue North and 34th Street. There is also a planned expansion by the City of Pinellas Park for the Youth Park off 62nd Avenue between 39th and 42nd Streets. Current roadway conditions consist of two 11-foot lanes, no paved shoulders, and open drainage. Sidewalks are intermittent. The speed limit is 40 miles per hour, and the overall traffic patterns are constrained, with a need for improvements at the signalized intersections at 49th Street and 34th Street. The project area is primarily a commercial business corridor with several neighborhoods located at the east end. A preliminary engineering report, or PER for short, is a study that evaluates possible improvements along the roadway based on 5 key factors. The factors are consistency with the county's long-range transportation plan, safety evaluation of design alternatives, environmental factors, and cost. For the 62nd Avenue North PER, we will weigh these factors for 2 build alternatives and compare them to a no-build, do-nothing option. This evaluation, along with your input, will help us recommend a final alternative. So let's take a look at Build Alternative 1. This features standard 12-foot lanes, a 14-foot center two-way left turn lane, a 12-foot shared use path on the north side of the roadway, and an 8-foot sidewalk on the south side. Bicyclists would be accommodated on the shared use path. A two-way left turn lane would move left-turning traffic out of the through lane in either direction. This approach allows us to limit the overall width of the road compared to having separate left turn lanes. Two-way left turn lanes have been found to reduce crash rates, lower vehicle speeds, and improve the safety of pedestrian crossings. Now, let's look at Alternative 2. This one includes dedicated bike lanes on the roadway. However, we would have to build a wider road, and there would be reduced width on both the shared use path and the sidewalk. The proposed project will add additional turn lanes at both 34th Street and 49th Street. It is important to note that typically, on a corridor like 62nd Avenue North, capacity, or traffic flow, is directly related to the signalized intersections. Adding turn lanes will improve traffic operations and the level of service, and that will enhance mobility. Proposed improvements at the 49th Street intersection include adding a through lane eastbound, adding a right turn lane westbound, and extending the length of the left turn lanes. These would provide increased capacity and movement through the intersection. This view shows the improvements for drivers going west on 62nd Avenue at 49th Street. On the eastbound side, notice the added through lane in the middle and the longer left turn lane. In this view, the improvements shown are for drivers going east on 62nd Avenue at 49th Street. Notice the added right turn lane and longer left turn lane. The project proposes to add additional improvements at 62nd Avenue and 34th Street in the form of a longer westbound right turn lane and longer westbound left turn lane. This will reduce conflicts between drivers turning versus traveling straight through. This view shows the proposed longer turn lanes coming from the east for westbound travelers. Besides the improved turn lanes, we're recommending the following additional safety enhancements. a reduced speed limit from 40 miles per hour to 35, adding the two-way left turn lane as previously mentioned, providing for separate facilities for bicyclists and pedestrians, and mid-block crossings that provide a safe refuge for crossing the roadway and help with speed management. We are proposing 2 mid-block crossings, one at the Youth Park between 42nd Street and 39th Street, and the other on the east end of the project at 37th Street. Stormwater design includes a closed drainage system with curb and gutter and potential stormwater ponds to capture runoff and for treatment. We also consider environmental factors in the preliminary engineering evaluation. We look at existing conditions, impacts that could come with the improvements, and mitigating measures that may need to be implemented. These factors include wetlands, floodplain, contamination, and soil conditions. In summary, let's take a look at our alternatives. The no-build alternative, do-nothing approach, requires no direct cost. However, it does come with indirect costs to road users through delays and travel times. It also doesn't accommodate pedestrians or bicyclists. Build alternatives 1 and 2 have total estimated costs of $20 million and $24 million, respectively. Build Alternative 1 comes in at an approximate 20% savings compared to Build Alternative 2. Alternative 1 also helps with speed control and reduces pedestrian crossing distances. When evaluating alternatives, we also look at future operations and maintenance costs. Your input is a very important part of our decision-making process. Please review the boards displayed here tonight and ask any questions you may have. This workshop is your opportunity to provide comments on the study and the alternatives. This presentation and workshop material will be posted on the project website shown on the slide. We look forward to your continued input and interest in this study. We will finalize the preliminary engineering report in the summer of 2023. Design, permitting, and right-of-way acquisition are tentatively scheduled to be completed in 2026, and construction would take about 18 months. Thank you again for your interest in this project.